we go, trying to make another video on this other tank that I set up. I kind of like this setup. This fish is swimming around a lot. It's really late at night. It might be tired. I'm probably tired. It's got this thing of bubbles. It's actually a wall of bubbles, and you know, sometimes it's hard to keep this air line in place. So I just kind of tied it in a loop and things. So it's giving this aquarium a nice aeration. Just because, you know, I don't have real plants and things like that, and this light, I don't even really need it here. I just use it here to see what's happening with the fish. If I had plants and things, I could really use this light. But there's so many little details that I've actually learned about fish keeping, or just even what's out in the wild, and how to do natural aquascapes, and you know, and basically, you know, in a lot of fish places, the plants usually float on top of the water. Somehow they can survive floating on top of the water or things. The plants on the ground, they're usually closer to the shoreline, that basically has dirt, and then the fish actually go in through that dirt and try to find worms and things by plants, and who knows, you know, wherever there's a plant, it might have even grown roots down through the bank and things, but it's not gonna always be at the bottom of the water. The only time it's at the bottom of the water is if it floods, or it's just floating plant stuff that's from the top that actually, you know, uses some of the stuff of dirt and minerals that are floating inside of the water from the bottom. But this artificial plants and stuff, they're just decorations. They're not really even supposed to be growing that deep underwater. So another thing about this aquarium and how I set up my aquariums is all, you know, most of the plugs. This is just a temporary small setup, but most of the plugs and heaters and pumps, they could be all tuned into, you know, different lines and be ran off of one system with the air pumps, just running, you know, just having different lines, but one air pump can fix that. With the HOB water filters, you can use a sump system, which pretty much is a lot larger than one aquarium. It could be, you know, 2 or 3 aquariums, probably 2. You know, you gotta go one by one, day to day, and just basically all these so there's basically 4 pieces of equipment that run, you know, pretty much that operate or just keep you know, aquariums pretty much maintained. Is a water filter, an air pump, a light, and a water heater. So the main problem for me that I had to consider is that the heater is 50 watts, and this is a 10-gallon tank. So, you know, I touched the glass and felt, you know, it was just, and it's summertime, so I just felt it would be just too warm, and perhaps stress out, you know, cook and kind of cook the fish a little too much for what the heat is pretty much used for, to replicate warm water in the spring and summer, and that's where they kind of breed and have cleaner water and things that, and can see a lot of things out in the wild in nature. I'm pretty sure a lot of day and night times do get cooler and have some type of shade, or overhanging plants that grow around water that would keep the water cooler. But just having a heater on day and night would be a little too excessive for me not to consider. Maybe the heater's too strong. For the summer, it's a 50-watt heater in a 10-gallon tank. I would be comfortable with a 10-watt heater, which is a lot smaller. The stores, they kind of designed it for a smaller tank, like a 2-gallon, just one of those small tanks. For a 5 or 10-watt heater in a 10-gallon tank, that would pretty much be pretty good water temperature year round, just because it's not making a 5 or 10-watt heater in a 10-gallon tank won't really heat up the whole area within 1 to 5 degrees of the heater, which is probably 10 to 20 more degrees than room temperature, or maybe 10 degrees more in water temperature wise. Maybe 5 to 10 degrees more using a heater. But during the summertime, the sun's gonna come out hopefully, and give most of everything some warm heat and energy, while you got this heater on. It's gonna pretty much double his heat and be a little too hot, and perhaps stress the fish out day and night, because the heater's too strong and it has no cool space or no cool water to swim to. It's just trapped in this aquarium. So even this 50-watt heater, I'm just basically considering maybe it's just a little too warm, especially during the summertime, and maybe it's a little too warm just for the size of this aquarium. I would probably be comfortable with a 10-watt heater, maybe a 10 or 20 watt, just because it's a small aquarium. I want to give the fish as coolest water, some really cool water, and then some really warm water around the heater. And just having all cold or all warm, it's you try to basically have both margins within reach for a decent aquarium. So this aquarium has a heat pad in it on one side, and it's worked out pretty good. I think it does, the heat kind of gets trapped between the table and the glass, so it does warm up the whole thing. But it's not like totally dangerous, because it's more closer to the bottom, but the heat, it'll rise up to the top and things, I guess, within the water. But it's only like a 10 to 13 watt heater in a 20-gallon tank. But yeah, some heaters are just better off for just the winter, where it'll really be more of an advantage for a certain size of tank. So, you know, during the winter, I would actually, you know, prefer like a 10 watt heater, you know, and that 50 watt heater, and they have 75 watt heaters or 100 watt heaters, 250 watt heaters, 500 watt heaters, 1000 watt heaters. It just depends on the amount of water volume, um, so that the heat could, you know, basically be available, but just basically, you know, have a cool off area. So a 50 watt heater for a 10-gallon tank, that's just a little too much. It'll just keep all of the water warm, and I'm not sure if I mean, if you know, if I wanted to really you know, make this aquarium for this fish that way, maybe, you know, if I had no other option to cure like ick, or, you know, and, you know, something that I knew that needed, you know, some really good heat, you know, it just depends, you know, basically the time of year, time of day, and the type of fish, the type of aquarium and fish species where I would have to consider the heating arrangements. But everything else, with the air bubbles and the water filtering, the light, and basically, you know, projects that I'm building up towards with these aquariums, they're going okay, I guess. I just don't want to take it on full-heartedly or anything, because not too many, well, there's not too many, but there are some snags down the road, whereas you know, providing you know, space and time for this situation. But just for now, this is all I've got to consider. I've considered it ever since, you know, I kind of set up this aquarium yesterday, or put this fish in this aquarium yesterday. But yeah, so pretty soon I'm going to be basically trying to move this top over to this other 20 tall aquarium right here, and then I want to have the other light, and that really works good for what I'm trying to do and have available for just some random fish. I don't know, I kind of it's kind of, you know, getting into hobbies and everything, you're kind of avoiding some of the other yeah, and spending time on something else that I'm not even sure if it's how it is or not. I mean, I should be just drawing or writing, and I don't know, trying to, you know, buy someone's lunch or something. That will probably be the coolest life for me, but I'm just kind of just haggling inside of some supplies and equipment that I have stored, and trying to, you know, get those situated so that I can move on to other things. But the betta fish, it's really awesome fish. They're really hard to maintain inside of a community tank, but having one like I'm doing as a pet and things like that, or they just have nice colors, have nice body, have fins. they're different, you know, from the males and the females, and they're not that hard to upkeep if you have one. They just become just like any other regular fish, enjoying um, their care. So thanks for watching this video. I appreciate all the support, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day. Bye.